Number one is a stereotype is an overgeneralized belief about a particular category of people. It is an expectation that people might have about every person in a group. So you take one person, and just because that one person has everything, suddenly that whole group has everything. Prejudice is an affective feeling towards a person based on their perceived group membership. And ethnocentrism is an evaluation of other cultures according to preconceptions originating in the standards and customs of one's own culture. Number two, prejudice and stereotyping are biases that work together to maintain social inequality. So how they affect each other is actually quite the opposite. They work together to create social inequality. And while that fine line runs different, and there is certain scenarios where it could go the other way, I feel like that they do work together, not for good, but they do go together. Ethnocentrism and prejudice are two very distinct, though closely related concepts, and they attempt to impose the subjective culture of somebody else's culture group. It's not the place to debate the merits of individualism and collectivism. They do run a very, very thin line. The difference is those feelings. Once you put those feelings, then you're now into prejudice. But if you just observe, then you're on the line of ethnocentrism. Number three, I feel like discrimination comes into play when you start treating someone different because of their culture, beliefs, skin color. Like in ethnocentrism and prejudice, you can observe and you can have feelings and keep them to yourself. But once you take those feelings out and start treating somebody different because of their beliefs, that's when you get into discrimination. Now, discrimination can then come in any form. It can come in racism. And once you get into that territory, then you start to mess with the legality of it. That's when society, oftentimes, it's cancel culture, and that will start to come into play. Number four, the difference is that fine line where you can evaluate somebody's culture without developing feelings towards it. And again, once you start developing those feelings, that's when you cross the line and go over into that territory. You can keep them inside your head and just observe, but oftentimes taking your feelings into something just completely crosses the line and changes the whole scenario of the situation, which is why oftentimes you're told to keep your feelings out of it.